Was told that I'm a part of the tree and the tree is a part of me. It was a tree of my life, of my perception of everything around me, my family. It was a wide tree with a branch for each of my relatives. A nice branch here for that aunt who cooked for us when my mother was sick. A beautiful soft branch over there for the cousins who consoled me after I failed my exams. Another one over there for the hardworking aunts and uncles who took the time to play with me when I was a child. All are beautiful branches of this tree that I carry on my shoulders. But at 20 years of age, the skeptic in me thought, is that possible? That all of the branches on my back are beautiful and everyone in my entire family is good? Let's look at some statistics on goodness, and I'll use my 100-person extended family to illustrate the point. Some of these stats are based on the US, but let's just pretend everyone is the US, like we want to do anyway. So if honesty is goodness, the University of Massachusetts researchers found that approximately 60% of people lie every day, making 60% of the branches on my back ugly. If being selfless is what makes us good, 75% of US adults don't do volunteering of any kind. So 75 ugly branches. What about infidelity? 35% of married Americans admitted to having an affair. That's just the percent that admitted to it. So 35 rotting branches on my back. So many people in the world just aren't good. But then, how was this tree that I carried full of beautiful branches? As I grew older, I started to notice the tree more. At 24, I found worms in the fruits, sick leaves in a corner, branches that just stopped growing, flowers that were stolen. My aunt cheated on her husband. Another uncle is a ruthless businessman stealing from his employees. 3 of my cousins are in a vicious, nasty fight with each other over their inheritance. Another cousin is a raging alcoholic that gets drunk and neglects her children. And the list goes on and on. When I learned of these things that were previously right in front of my face, I was very upset. I could not be conciliated. And I just started cutting branches left and right. The aunt, the uncle, the cousins, cut, boom, into the trash you go. And for a time, I was happy. Confused as to how I had missed these things growing up, but happy to be rid of it. Sure, I had a much smaller tree, but it was finally actually beautiful. And then at 26, I saw some of the disease that I cut from the tree festering inside of me. The traits that I cut, I showed signs of them myself. Because I'm a part of the tree, and the tree is part of me. But I worked on it. I went to therapy, solved some of my issues. Some of them, they're a continuous battle. But it made me think, what if someone saw me then and cut me off of their tree just like I did with them? Because in the tree, growth is possible. A change of what you use to nourish the soil is possible. Using pesticides is possible. You can change. And so I started to repair my tree again, bringing those cut branches back. Some had died. Some had changed. Some had healed. Others had not. But there's still a part of my tree and a part of me. This doesn't mean I celebrated the disease, but I didn't blur my vision to them and I gave them a chance to grow. Also, ignorance is not bliss. By confronting and owning the disease that I had in my tree, I was able to learn about my roots and keep the internal disease at bay. So we all have our trees of different shapes and sizes. Perhaps you've had a different trajectory in life with your tree, or maybe you haven't really given it much thought. In any case, I want you to take my experience and take a moment after tonight's meeting to think about your tree. Is it perfect? Or can you learn from it? What I learned from mine is that my life's perspective towards the trees were always wrong. I started off life with the idea that everything in the tree was perfect, that I had the perfect family filled with perfect people. And I was naive. Then, when that image was shattered, I went towards the other extreme. I started cutting people off. But my family is a part of my identity. Whether I talk to them or not, they're still connected to me through familial roots. And so now I'm somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. Who knows? I'm only 28 right now, and I'm not pretending to be an all-knowing, wise old man. Maybe I'll think this, what I'm telling you right now, is wrong a few years from now. But for now, I'm reconnecting with my family and learning and growing from the experience. And even though my tree is not as beautiful as I thought it was, it's still my very own tree. Thank you.